Inifresi.
Gina ni mastakilam gihina zoku. Ni mastakilam gi coração.
Zani masfigu na ninasinyahu. Ua fresa maisadzu para butehi. Zan udifendi ihanyangi.
Iko tura ilangwahi.
Iari ihanam zani tanu chamorro. Ni inichoku diretsu generanzo estata.
Esti ua fitma gehelo e biblia.
Zani venerahu I banderan guahan.
Buenas Sinhafide Tauta Guahan Zan Saipan. Guahu si Tiffany Kirigua. Hello, people of Guam and Saipan. I am Tiffany Kirigua, your host for this third season of Hestorian Isla'ta. I invite you to join me every Monday in March for a new episode on this Sorensen Media Group television station. We will take in the Chamorro language and learn how to keep our island's environment healthy at the same time with Polyeric Forbes. Rita Nauta of Guampedia.com will share a fact on the island of Guam and her people. And in celebration of the flag's 100th anniversary, Lieutenant Governor of Guam Ray Tenorio will talk about the different variations of our Guam seal. Then get ready for some great Tanala Kutney as Alicia Tovis Cali will share her recipe. Inat Nungef Pagu will perform a Spanish number for us called Kulot Siha. Hestorian Isla'ta will continue right after this. Welcome back to Hestorian Isla'ta. Rita Nauta of Guampedia.com is about to educate us on how some American-type dishes, like potato salad and pot roast, ended up as regulars on our fiesta tables.
Buenas Tauta Guahan, Guahu si Rita Nauta from Guampedia.com, a community project that highlights the unique Chamorro heritage and history of Guam and the Marianas. Our island is known for its Hafaday spirit and hospitality that is reflected in our gatherings or guput siha. Our fiesta tables are laden with an array of delicious foods. Some of these foods that have been gracing our tables for some time have a history of their own. Did you ever wonder how potato salad, pot roast, meatloaf, and shrimp patties gained their spots on our fiesta tables? Before World War II, Chamorros got jobs as stewards, working as mess attendants or cooks on U.S. Navy ships, where they learned to cook American-style dishes, such as fritters, potato salad, and roast beef. Once these men retired and came home, these dishes, adapted a bit, became popular fare at traditional fiestas as food for our guests. A Guam fiesta today would not be complete without shrimp patties, potato salad, and dinner rolls, like many of our young Chamorro men and women today that joined the military to see the world. For that same reason, 800 young men from Guam joined the Navy as mess attendants more than 100 years ago, bringing home new traditions that have become a part of our fiesta table today. Biba Chamorro, Biba Guahan. Learn more amazing facts about our island and history at Guampedia.com. You can also pick up a copy of Guampedia's 101 Amazing Facts About Guam at UOG's Triton Bookstore, Tse'lu or Iputian in the Chamorro Village, and the Guam Museum Gift Shop. Sizu'us Ma'asi.
Tune in next week as we learn that the first shot made by the U.S. in World War I was made from our very own Apra Harbor. Right now, let's listen in to Polyeric Forbes as he explains the impact the Tautau, or people, have on our environment.
Buenas Afañelos, Guahu si Polyeric. This year, 2017, is the International Year of Reconnecting with Nature. So let's learn the Chamorro words for 4 basic very components of the environment around us. Today, we learn the Chamorro word for that segment of creation that has the biggest impact on our environment besides the Earth's own movement and weather. And that is people. The Chamorro word for people is tautau. Tautau can mean one person or many people, and we can say tautau siha to make it clear that we are speaking in the plural. 4,000 years ago or so, the first tautau came to our islands. Their interaction with this land and the waters surrounding it were benign, given the limited technology they had at the time. Even under Spanish colonization, our Tautau remained close to land and sea, in tune with the movements of Mother Nature, knowing by signs in the environment when to plant, when to harvest, and when to fish. Since the very end of World War II, the actions of Tautau, both the Tautau Tonu, the people of the land, and the Tautau Hizung, the people from outside the land, have made a far greater impact on our environment, and not always for the better. Huge areas of land were flattened and deforested for air bases and airports, reefs knocked down and shores dredged for naval works. The population of Tautau soared, and thus the need for housing and commercial development, roads, and infrastructure. If the Tautau were responsible for creating today's situation, then the Tautau have to be the ones to remedy the consequences of their own action. Let us become more aware and more concerned about our own impact on our environment. If the Tautau embrace that awareness and concern, it will become more a priority among the officials the Tautau elect. And hopefully, all together, we can steer progress in a way that does good for our environment as much as it does good for our Tautau. What is bad for our environment can never be good for our Tautau.
That's right, we all must do our part to keep our Guahan clean for generations to come. Stay right there. When we return, the official keeper of the Guam seal will share with us the different looks that the Guam seal has taken on. But first, can you answer this question? According to a naval government publication, the Guam Newsletter, when did the Guam flag make its first appearance? Was it A, July 21st, 1918, B, July 6th, 1917, or C, July 4th, 1918? That answer right after this. Before the break, we asked if you knew when the Guam flag made its first appearance, according to the Guam Newsletter. Your choices were A, July 21st, 1918, B, July 6th, 1917, or C, July 4th, 1918. The answer is B, July 6th, 1917. The Guam Newsletter was a monthly naval government publication. They reported that the Guam flag made its first appearance on July 6, 1917. That was when it was formally received together with the national colors by the Guam cadets at a parade on behalf of the people of Guam. With that said, we are quickly coming up on the 100th anniversary of our island's flag. Over those years, there have been different versions of the Guam seal. So, let's sit with the official keeper of the Guam seal, Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Ray Tenorio, for more. Thank you again for joining us, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio.
Thank you very much.
So could you tell me a little more about the variations and the developments you've seen with the Guam seal and the Guam flag over the years?
Sure, it's interesting. As Lieutenant Governor since 2011, we've really taken the Guam seal and the Guam flag and tried to make it something more recognizable. But it's very interesting about the different variations of the Guam seal and the Guam flag that I've seen over the years. I went to Government House some years ago, and there's a really old Guam seal. It looks like it was made during maybe the 1940s by the military or something. And it's got this sort of lettering that you would find on MASH, you know, that 1970s show, where the lettering's like military style, you know, kind of punch type. Well, I saw that, and then I saw another Guam seal that was made out of wood, and it was up at the old museum up here at Adelup. And I've seen different variations of the Guam seal, even the one that we have now. And the language, as I had mentioned before, has changed from Great Seal of the Territory of Guam to Tanui Mansamoro and Great Seal of Guam. So each one of these variations is really interesting because it shows the evolution of not just the time period when these seals and the Guam flag were created, but of course the different sentiments. And you see like crowns, for example, they're making great products, and they're making shirts, and they got a twist on things. You talk to jewelers, for example, Angelo Lin, who runs Lin's Jewelry, he's got so many different designs of the Guam pendant, you know, the Guam seal pendant. And each one of them has their own sort of flair, their own kind of style, but it really shows the diversity. And I talk about the Guam flag sometimes. There's some really interesting flags out there where the red kind of looks orange or pink, and the coconut tree doesn't have any coconuts, and you know, there's a lot of variations. And so one of my hopes is, by the time I finish being Lieutenant Governor here, is to forward to the legislature some ideas on standardizing the colors and the shapes, like the proa, for example, on which side should the mast be on, for lack of a better word, of this proa or segment. Because I want there to be a consistent, uniform image for the Guam seal. And even though there's that artistic side of us that we all want to use and appreciate on t-shirts or baseball caps, I still think there'll be a certain amount of uniformity when you're looking at Guam flags or Guam seals in their use in their official capacity. If I see a flag at any office supply, I want to see the same elements, the same colors that are true to what the original flag and the Guam seal should be.
Right. Sizuos Maasi for that information, Lieutenant Governor. We learn something new every day.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next week.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Sizuos Maasi.
Welcome back to Hestorian Isla'ta. Let's move on to everyone's favorite, food. Keeping with our Tsesa theme, or appetizer, here is Alicia Tovis Cali of Cali Cafe preparing some delicious Tinala Kutney.
Hafa Guam, welcome to Cali Cafe. My name is Alicia, and today I have with me Rose. We're going to show you our version of the Tinalan Kutney, which means dried meats. Today we're going to show you the pork and the beef. So it's pretty much the same recipe, but today we're just going to mix one. There's many, many versions of this. I know when I was growing up, it was really hard. And I just didn't want to have to cook it because I don't like to wait for anything. You know, you want to make something, you want to eat it right away. So the old school way is to dry it. You have to hang it, dry it over the barbecue. Another way someone showed me was to put it in the oven for hours, you know, for it to dry. I think this is the fastest version I've ever seen, and I think you'll like it too. So it's very simple. What we did was cut our meat up into long strips like this, almost like the way you would when you're going to hang it. Put it into a ball, and the only ingredients you would need would be the tender quick salt. It really gives the meat a good flavor, and it also helps to make your meat tender really quick. So salt, Rosie, go ahead. Onion powder, garlic, and black pepper. And then what you need to do is mix it really, really well. You have to use your hands, mix it really, really well. And put it into a baggie and leave it in your refrigerator for at least 1 day. 1 day is good enough for all those ingredients to incorporate into the meat, and it also gives it this taste that you would like. I just think it's the fastest way. And then right before you put it in, you can put in some sort of smoke flavor or whatever other flavors you would like to have that smoke. So once it's done, you take the meat, go ahead, Rosie, and we'll do the beef, and you throw it into your fryer. And you fry it for about, I'd say about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Once it's fried up, you take it out and you chop it up into little pieces. And we'll show you that after it's done. But what goes really, really well with it as well is the finadeni that we make here in Guam. It's called the, what is it called again, Rosie? Apple cider vinegar or lemon finadeni. Today we have onions, yellow onions, green onions, pepper, salt, apple cider vinegar, and I really like the taste of our fresh lemon here in Guam. So I just squeeze 1 lemon into that, and that together with your dried beef, that's all you need. It's the greatest chester in the world. So thank you for coming. That is our version. This is Rosie. I'm Alicia. Have a great day.
Tune in again next time as Alicia will prepare some karanpika, or spicy chicken stew. Hestorian Isla'ta will return with a dance segment influenced by the Spanish, featuring cultural dance group in Natnongef Pagu. For the final segment in this episode of Hestorian Isla'ta, let me introduce you to Vince Regis and his award-winning cultural dance group Inetnungev Pagu.
Hafidi. The dance that you're about to see is originally called Decalores, which means Kulutsia, or the colors. The dance is our Spanish segment, and it celebrates several influences of our island during the Spanish time. The influences are from Spain, from our shared Filipino-Spanish heritage, as well as Mexico. So, Kulutsia.
Undunkalu Nasizuis Moasip for watching this episode of Hestorian Isla'ta. Remember, every March is Tomorrow Month, but we don't have to wait until March to celebrate our Tomorrow history, culture, language, and people. Biba Tomorrow! Biba Mes Tomorrow!